Hello everyone, so on day 6 of my journey on learning to become a better StarCraft player. My overall goal on this learning process is to break down each of the individual factors that make a good StarCraft player good. My approach is to drill each of the factor and try to measure my progress. My old method of playing games were just playing the game in hope that I get better as the time progresses. This method, however, is not really efficient. I want to take a different approach and becoming more deliberate on my practice. So today I'll be practicing on the hotkeys. The challenge that I have in the beginning was trying to remember which hotkeys belong to which units or which buildings. So I took a step back to pre-assign some hotkeys. Once I pre-assign, I become more consistent on selecting the units or buildings. Here are some pre-assignment that I did. I use number 3 for probe that will be used for scouting. I use number 4 for the main probe that I will be using to build buildings in my main base. I use number 5 for robotics, number 6 for nexus, 7 for any buildings that are doing any upgrades, and so on. I also use the screen hotkeys to navigate to the certain area of the map quickly. I use F5 for the enemy base, F6 for proxy area if I have any, and F6 for the second expansion base, and F8 for the third expansion base. It took me about 3 or 4 rounds of practice for a total of about 50 minutes before I get used to the hotkeys. After that, I jump into a game directly to see if the practice is actually working, and whether I actually remember which hotkeys belong to which one when I am under pressure. And true enough, I was fumbling here and there, although I was lucky to be able to win fairly quickly. I did find it that building units were a lot faster, and I get to move across the map fairly quickly without using my mouse. I also tried 4 gates cheese on Protoss, where I just focus on mainly building the zealots and rush attack the enemy. I was successful thanks to the hotkeys since I didn't have to be in my proxy when I'm coordinating my attack. One of the unintended lessons that I learned from this game, it seems that I can actually just do fine with just having 3 gates instead of 4 gates. At least at the lower level, this would work. And I've also been watching a few videos and trying to fake building some units and some gates on my main base to make it so that it didn't look like cheese strategy. Another thing that I learned as I was playing against Terran is that tech lab next to a factory means that the Terran player is building some kind of a mech unit, and if the player uses a reactor, it's going to be helpful on building some multiple units in parallel, which mean more of a biological unit. When I did the cheese strategy, I found that the Terran player that I played against built a wall in the entrance, and it was very difficult for me to get into the base. I could have actually lost the game if I was unsuccessful, so it was a bit of a gamble. Although I was pretty lucky because the Terran was actually busy coordinating and microing his Reaper over in my main base, and he was not fast enough to send his SCV to actually fix the supply depot to prevent my Zealots from coming in into the base. This kind of makes me think that I should work on distracting my enemy with mineral drop or any other activity to distract them while I actually send my units to the main base to do real damage. This is something that I probably need to practice on deliberately. That's it for today. As always, let me know if you have any suggestion or any method that has worked for you in the past.
Base is under attack. You must construct additional